The UN Secretary-General has again called for a Ramadan ceasefire in Sudan. It's suffering the biggest displacement crisis in the world, and aid agencies warn it risks becoming the world's largest hunger crisis. A top general in Sudan's army is reported to have rejected a Ramadan ceasefire unless the rival RSF paramilitary group leaves civilian and public sites. US officials are pushing to open more land routes for aid from Chad. The army had closed access points, saying the RSF was using it to transport weapons and has only reopened one.
The fighting there must end for the sake of the Sudanese people who face hunger, horrors and untold hardships. In Gaza, in Sudan and beyond, it's time for peace. I call on political, religious and community leaders everywhere to do everything in their power to make this holy period a time for empathy, action and peace.
Well, earlier the BBC spoke to Michael Dunford, the World Food Programme's Regional Director for Eastern Africa. He told us about the severity of the situation in Sudan.
We have an extraordinary problem on our hands in Sudan at the moment, not only inside the country but also across the region. 8.4 million people displaced inside, another 1.9 million refugees escaping into places like Chad and South Sudan, countries that don't really have the capacity to meet their needs. The international community must put pressure on all parties to the conflict to cease fire. As we've just heard from the Secretary-General, it's essential that we have a ceasefire which would allow humanitarian organizations such as the World Food Programme to scale up our operations massively. And that is the only thing that is going to provide any ability to prevent the hunger crisis that is looming as we speak. We're all coming up next month to the one-year anniversary of the start of the conflict. And all of the efforts to try and impose or agree a ceasefire or to allow the humanitarian access thus far have not succeeded. But we can't give up hope. We need to continue to put pressure, and we need key members of the Security Council and others to ensure that progress is being made, because without an end to the conflict, we are facing a devastating catastrophe in Sudan.